I tell you something. No, no, no. I've been going through some funky changes. Changes are the same. Ooh, we like the joys, but we can't really stand the pains. Ooh, oh no. I'm just happy. You and me back in stride again. To see you and me back in stride again. All right, I do not own the rights to that music, so I'm turning that shit off right now. We are live. This is On the Sevens with Pipers B Metatron, where we come to awaken, ascend, and expand. I am Pipers B Metatron, your host with the most. And today is a very good day to be me. Every day is a very good day to be me. I believe this. I know this. I live this, and I require this. And I guarantee you this. When you make that mantra a part of your daily rituals, and you go about doing the things that motivates and inspires you to do, your life too will get better exponentially each and every day. I live by this. This is not the stuff we talk about here and the stuff we do here at On the Sevens. It's not a hobby, y'all. It's not a pastime. It's not something that we, pick up when we're bored, or that we oh, I got an hour. Let me look at some astrology. Oh, I got 15 minutes. Let me look at some numbers. No, we fucking live this shit. Anybody who is a part of the Council of Seven, those will be my co-hosts on this broadcast. We live this shit. It's not a game. It's not a hobby. It's not for entertainment purposes only. Get the fuck out of here with that horse shit. Yeah, I'm not here to entertain nobody. Okay. I'm going to inform you. I want you to awaken, ascend, and expand. And that's what you're going to do if you keep hanging out with On the Sevens with Pipers B Metatron. In fact, On the Sevens Master Self Academy is going through a transformation right now that everybody, I mean, everybody is going to be thoroughly and totally amazed at the things that we will be able to do for you here at onthesevens.com. So don't ever let nobody discount your gift. Don't let nobody tell you, I had somebody tell me the other day, I don't believe in astrology. I said, okay. I said, it's not a belief system anyway. It's a living system. And you can believe in it or not. It still happens to you. So I asked him, I said, well, what is your point? Well, what are you doing posting all of this stuff about astrology? I said, because that's my fucking right to do that, man. I said, if you don't believe it, if you don't follow it, if you think it's a bunch of horseshit, why did you stop and make a comment on my post? You could have just kept on scrolling, bro. Could have kept on scrolling. So uh, uh, we are excited here at onthesevens.com. We are in phase 2 of the transformation project. And when this project is complete, On the Sevens will definitely be your one-stop shop for your astrology, for your numbers, for your cards, for your natural health and healing, for your mantras, for chakras, for all of the things in one place. You don't have to go to 3 or 4 or 5 different websites to get your full reading. You can come to onthesevens.com and sign up to become a subscriber, and you will be amazed. I'm already amazed, and it take a lot to amaze a 16-7 because my whole life has been amazing. It's been one amazing event after another. However, I am fucking amazed by what is transpiring and what is transforming uh, for my website. I'm more excited about being able to raise the bar in the spiritual community. We definitely are going to be hated on by all the fakers, the phonies, and the two-book gurus who then read 2 books and think they can come online and start selling readings. Yeah, we're going to start that. Our product, not me, not Ryan, not any of my co-hosts, but it's the product that we will be able to produce will be what's calling them out and what's put them to shame. Not us, not out of our mouths. It'll be what we can do. So we are really, really, really excited about the things that are coming. We have a treat for someone today. Someone on this call, on the Zoom portion of the call, is going to be able to get their face cracked by me and Ryan. We're going to give you a sample of our app and what it can do. Just a little small sample. So I'm already believing that the person that just signed in, Stephanie from Facebook, I believe that we will have some answers for some questions if Steph would like to ask some questions after we get through the meat of the broadcast, or anybody else. And I want us to get used to, for every broadcast, get used to asking personal questions at the end of the broadcast. When we get finished with what we have prepared, ask your personal questions, because yeah, it's fine and dandy when you listen to me and Miss Williams, or you gonna listen to me and Sojourner, or me and Dr. Atia, or me and Joshua, or even me and Ryan. Yeah, that's fine on something we have prepared. But when it's something that only you know about and that we can get in and tap in and find your solution, that's where the difference is going to be made. That's where the difference is going to be made. So again, we are thankful. We are grateful for each and every one of you that is here. And um, uh, let's see, do I have any other quick business announcements before? Ryan, you got anything quick you want to let the folks know before we get on into this jam-packed, powerful transmission?
What comes to mind is first, I appreciate everybody showing up, and get get a question together. If you don't mind sharing, if you really want value, if you really want some transformation, if you really want something that's about you, something where you can't just go type into a website, get your question ready now. If it's something you've been going through, if it's something you've been wondering, if it's some type of transformation you want to make, if it's some compatibility, if it's a partner you're courting, if it's anything like that, somebody you're working with, get that ready in your mind and be prepared for us to address that for you at the end of the call.
Uh, Sojourner, I know, can you, because I can't get to it right now, can you get to your email and send Joshua the link so he can log in, please? I appreciate that. Yeah, so from here on out, you guys, it's each of us, the Council of Seven, Miss Williams, Sojourner, Dr. Atia, Justel Kane, Ryan, Joshua. There's one other one. I'm missing somebody. Oh, me. Shit. Me. That's the Council of Seven. That is the on the 7's-7. Uh all of us, and I'm not even concerned. I just want to put it out there. All of us got to take it up another notch. Like Emeril Lagasse back in the late 90s, early 2000s when he had his show, we're going to kick it up a notch. Bam! Yeah, we're going to kick this shit up a notch or two or three. We're gonna move the marker so far. We're gonna move the marker so far that everybody else is gonna be playing for second place. I used to say that shit when I was taking a test or there was some kind of performance that could be measured. I used to walk into the place and tell everybody else, which one of y'all gonna get second? Because I'm winning the shit. So I'm taking that into on the sevens. So be prepared. Be prepared. Be prepared. All right. All right. All right. Again, this is on the sevens with Piper's Beat Metatron. This is Spring Equinox 2026 Zodiac Natives Soul Vibrations. According to the planets and the aspects, what is about to happen tomorrow is the solar reset and the opening of the 2026-2027 Radical Change Directive. The spring equinox of March 20th, 2026 at 1:47 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time initiates the exact moment the sun equalizes light and shadow and resets the solar year. This equinox arrives inside a rare 5-gate sequence that intensifies its impact. The Virgo lunar eclipse, Jupiter's direct motion, the Pisces new moon, the equinox itself, and the Saturn-Pluto sextile at the end of the month. These forces combine to create a decisive threshold where the old timeline dissolves and the new directive begins to imprint. The field feels fated, F-A-T-E-D, not faded, pressurized, and unmistakably transitional. It's a big movement tomorrow afternoon, you guys. And I'm not one to get into hyperbole, talking about, oh, it's the biggest planetary transit of our lifetime. Every planetary transit is the biggest one of our lifetime. So I'm not going to get hyperbolic like that. However, for those of us that know about Pluto and Aquarius and Saturn doing this thing and Uranus doing this thing and Gemini, all of that doing this thing, for those of us that follow that shit closely, we know that tomorrow is the jump off point. No more of the old paradigm, no more of the old self, no more of the old thinking, no more of the old ways and means of getting through shit. It's over. It's over. I told folks in the beginning of the year that when January 1st, 2026 hit, normally January 1st is an insignificant date. It don't, unless there's a planetary movement on that date. It's really an insignificant date. This year, though, when January 1st, when that calendar flipped, America started a brand new 250-year cycle, which meant the original 250-year cycle ended. With that new cycle, new paradigm was instituted, new ways and means of living and being are being started, and the old systems, all of the old systems that were imbalanced, that were exclusionary, that were not for the highest good for the people, they all will crumble. You can rest assured about that. No matter what the news is attempting to tell you, no matter how much they come on there with their lies and their bullshit, the entire matrix of the world is crumbling. And out of the crumble, the new ways and means of living and being will come forth. The Virgo lunar eclipse earlier in the month stripped away distortions and outdated patterns, leaving the emotional and psychic bodies exposed and purified. By the time the equinox arrives, this clearing is still active. The identity feels partially dissolved, as though the previous version of self has already been released, while the new one has not yet fully formed. This liminal condition is intentional. The equinox requires spaciousness so the new solar directive can anchor without interference. All of us been going through a little something this week as we push forward to tomorrow. Uh, uh, and I likened it to the last remnants of your old self holding on to the bottom of your pant leg like a little dog that is bitten, and you're shaking. Your new self is shaking it off, saying, "Get away from me! Go somewhere." Tomorrow at this 1:47 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, yeah, that dog, that last part of your old self, that last part of doubt, that last part of of no self-control, that last part of procrastination, that last part of anything that has been an obstacle to you living your best life and moving forward with everything that is good for you will fall away. Are you ready? Are you ready to embrace your new self? I am. I've been ready for this since the first of the year. I am so ready to fully embrace the new authentic version of me that is coming forth even as we speak today. Jupiter's recent shift into direct motion amplifies the equinox with a surge of expansion that feels both promising and unavoidable. Growth becomes a mandate rather than a possibility. The future begins to exert gravitational pull, drawing the individual towards a larger expression of purpose. The equinox becomes the ignition point for this expansion, turning the inner potential into outward trajectory. The Pisces new moon, 2 days before the equinox, dissolves the final residues of the previous solar year. I'm telling you about that old self, the last part of it dying away and dropping off. This creates a rare psychic transparency at the moment of the reset. Your intuition will heighten, dreams and visions will sharpen, and the emotional body becomes the primary instrument of the truth. The equinox becomes a rebirth through disillusion. The new directive emerges from the clearing rather than from effort or intention. Mercury's direct motion on the same day sharpens the mental field, clearing confusion and restoring coherence. Decisions that were previously fogged become obvious. The equinox becomes a clarity event, aligning thought, intuition, and destiny into a single coherent stream. The Saturn-Pluto sextile at the end of the month locks the new architecture into place, giving the equinox long-term consequence. What begins at 1:47 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time on the 20th is not temporary. It's structural. It defines the next 3 years of personal and collective evolution. The equinox activates 5 core themes: identity reset, timeline realignment, energetic equalization, destiny acceleration, and structural anchoring. The nervous system becomes hyper-receptive, the emotional body transparent, the mental body directive, and the energetic body reorganized. This is the moment where the universe asks which version of yourself will cross the threshold. That is the soul. High Priestess Alania will come with the science. Go ahead, Miss Williams.
Thank you. I'm like, yes, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. But welcome back, everybody. Just let's take a breath because we really is going through a huge threshold right now, like a huge portal experience. So we are stepping into a very powerful moment with the equinox, the beginning of the new year, and the sun going into Aries. So before we move forward, we need to understand exactly what we are coming out of. So speaking on the new moon we just experienced in Pisces, Pisces is the last sign. So 12 in Pisces representing the ending and the beginning. So it wasn't just a complete beginning with the new moon itself, it's also an ending with that. So Pisces representing the ocean, the subconscious, the unseen realm, and energetically it represents the womb, and this where all creativity and things come from. So this was giving us an invite this new moon to pull inward and reflect, release, go through emotional processing. A lot of people I know was feeling real tired and exhausted. But Pisces has that sleepy, spell with it. But very emotional, foggy, unclear, or even feeling like a little disconnect for a moment because Pisces is about dissolving the material and getting you back into your spiritual. So it's asking you, again, who are you without roles, without labels, without any attachments? Like, who are you really? So I want to ask you guys over the past week, what has it felt like for you to come through or go through your endings? Like, what has been processing for you? What emotions or memories have actually came up that maybe you thought you already moved through, but you didn't quite get there? Now, because this energy wasn't here to simply confuse you, it's not here to confuse you or any of us. It's really here for clarity. That's why it's rising to the surface. So, some scholars, like Messier, describe that this phase as a return to primordial waters. And this is the place where everything dissolves so things can be reborn. And the new moon is preparing us for this by releasing what no longer aligns with us, especially on a soul level. Pisces rule the feet, soul, so you don't carry it into your next cycle. Now, touching a little bit on Mercury going direct with the North Node, this is talking about what's actually happening with us spiritually and mentally. So we have the retrograde stationing, going to station after being with the North Node in Pisces. So Mercury rules the mind, perception, messages, our immediate environment, how we process reality information, how we learn, and a lot of our childhood memories as well, what we connect to. So during the retrograde, because it's a water sign and because it's retrograde, again, we're going inward. So instead of moving forward during retrograde, this is about processing, reflecting, and revisiting the past. And in Pisces, it's not about logic. Okay, this is completely intuitive, completely emotional, and completely spiritual. So what we were processing may not have made sense initially, but it was still meaningful. So now that Mercury will be going direct, the fog will start to lift, clarity will start to set in. And because it's happening with the North Node, the clarity is connected to our destiny. The North Node is about, where we're supposed to be heading. And Rahu or the North Node can be a little confusing because a lot of times we really don't know what's we don't always know exactly what direction we're supposed to be headed in. And the South Node, which is Virgo right now, but our South Node is a place where we feel most comfortable because we've already lived this life. So when we have to move out our comfort zone, we're heading towards our destiny, and it can be kind of scary, it can be kind of intimidating, and it can get a little confusing. So what has been confusing you now may start to make sense as especially as we move into the sun going into Aries. So have you had any realizations recently or where something is just starting to click for you? For me personally, I did a video earlier on my YouTube. I went live after therapy, and it was like it literally clicked like the seed of what unworthiness, like how it started, like how far back it actually went, and how I was trying to capitalize off of it in a way to redeem myself from past mistakes that I didn't even know that I made. So it was like a lot of forgiveness, a lot of acknowledgement of, I didn't know what was going on back then because I was just a child, but how it was so many layers to me trying to redeem myself and then it was like never feeling good enough. And it's like, I didn't even know what was going on. I didn't even have the sensibility to say, okay, that's right or that's wrong. But I blamed myself for it the whole entire time and trying to like kind of force myself to be like clean or whatever. So it's like, because that's what this energy is actually doesn't, it takes what you felt and turns it into understanding. So now it's like I've been asking spirit, like, what's really blocking my abundance? What's really blocking my ability to access prosperity in a way that I know that I deserve and that's what's mine. And then for that to come up in a way where I'm just talking it out and I'm really realizing like, dang, like I was really like trying to earn what I thought was my worth when I already had it. And I don't even have to do that. So, you know, psychologist Carl Jung spoke about this as bringing like the unconscious into awareness. So that's what we experienced during Pisces season. So now it's about direction. So with the equinox and the sun moving into Aries, this is where we arrive at that shift. The spring equinox is about balance, equal day and night, light and dark working in harmony with each other. So what happens next is Pisces is water, but it is light and dark, but it is a dark kind of energy because it's mystery. There's not a lot of light there. You have to feel your way through it. Excuse me. Now that light of Aries represents the consciousness that's rising, the spark of light. And Aries being a first sign, it represents identity, action, initiation, the I am energy. It coordinates with the first house, which is about your personality, your appearance, how you show up in the world. So if Pisces was the womb, Aries is the seed that is being planted in order for us to give birth. So that's our first breath, our first movements, our awareness of ourselves. And even in the body, again, with Pisces ruling the feet, Aries rules the head. So we're starting all over again, like recycle. Okay. So we're literally moving from surrendering in Pisces to taking action in Aries. So, what part of you all is ready to begin again? And if you could choose who you are becoming right now, who is that version of you? Now, this isn't pressure, it's just activation because that's what Aries do. It's a cardinal sign. So you're being asked to move with intention, especially with Saturn and being here in Aries. You have to be extremely intentional. So when it comes to some ancient rituals and when it comes to the art of creation or alchemy, this takes the equinox and things a little bit deeper. So it's not just astrology here. Ancestors understood embodiment. So across cultures, the spring equinox was a time where we acknowledge fertility, creation, and renewal. Now, a lot of cultures honor this through rituals that kind of symbolize the union of the masculine and the feminine, which in tarot we see as the Four of Wands, Venus and Aries. So, from an anthropological perspective, they documented how society saw Earth as a living feminine force, not just something that we just live on. It was a sacred place. So, in Europe, I like, happy. I'm like, anybody tell me happy St. Patrick's Day for funsies, even though I'm Irish, but it's okay. But in Euro, even they brought it over here too. I know in the 20s and 30s they have pictures of people raising a maypole, and there was a pole that they were placed into earth to symbolize fertilization of the land, and then they would tie like ribbons and stuff to it, and then spin in a circle to symbolize the earth being fertilized by the phallus, the wand. In the American culture or the Americas, the Mayans understood planting seeds during that time as a ceremony and working with earth, not trying to control the earth. That was a sacred ritual that they performed. African traditions like the Yoruba, creation is always about balance, like between feminine and masculine forces. They have to be in union and in harmony all the time. So coming back to astrology, Pisces being the womb, Aries being the seed, that's the moment that we're in right now, is a cosmic act of creation, intentional creation. So what are you planting in your life right now? And if your life is a garden, what seeds are you choosing to grow this season? Okay. And are your actions aligned with what you say you are creating? And not just the ones that come out your mouth. We also got to be intentional about the ones up here in the mind. So when we look at everything together, the new moon, the Mercury going direct in Aries season started. This is a new version of us, which we are ready to perform. We're ready to act. We're ready to like embody and get into is who we're becoming. So another thing I wanted to touch on with this too is, whatever we create in Aries season, whatever we start in Aries season, Taurus season, going into Taurus season is where we find and express the value of what we're creating right now. Just if you want to think ahead a little bit, my Aquarius moon North Node is like it's tapping in. But it's like right now, yes, we're intent on creating. Yes, we are aware of where our destiny is heading. But just know the next part of this is finding and creating more value in how we see ourselves and what we choose to create. So also balance that out with your intentional creation. All right. So I hope you all are ready to create because I am. It has been a crazy week though. I ain't gonna lie. Like so much stuff has happened. And it's like, you know what? I'm not even about to try to put my hand on nothing. I'm gonna just sit back and just let it happen.
Yep,
Just let it happen. Because, if I try to take it by his hand, Pisces season, it's just gonna slip through anyway. So I'm
absolutely.
just, but yeah, if anybody knows or has like any comments or even just one word you want to express that is on your mind for this coming year as well as this coming season, just go ahead and put in the chat what it is in one word you might want to create for yourself. Whether it's, meditation or exercise or just being more focused, like share openly if you are willing and ready. You can also just say it to yourself if you want to, or you can write it out as well. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. And before you go, I want to thank High Priestess Alania for taking this time to be with us today. She is burning two things at once. I do want to let you know that I did put the spring equinox ritual in the chat. If you want to get it out of there, Miss Williams. If not, I will email it out to everybody after the broadcast. That way, you guys can have something that you can get up in the morning and do this self-empowerment ritual before the equinox hit, and then really just usher in some really, really fabulous inner work and some outer expressions for each of us. Thank you, High Priestess. This section of the show has been sponsored by Jolynn Herbert's Jolynn's Written Expression from City, Ocean to a Mountain, a memoir. Published by Fulton Books, Jolynn Herbert's book is an alluring self-portrait inviting you and all to join this journey to feel her inspiration to move the way the universe sees one to move with all gravity, and that we are created and gifted to capture. Jolynn's literary expressions, personal insights, struggles, and triumphs in a deep, candid view. Jolynn's Written Expressions from City, Ocean to a Mountain, a memoir, is sure to resonate with readers from all walks of life, making it a must-read for fans of this true life genre. Again, this show is sponsored by Jolynn's Written Expressions, and we are thankful and grateful for her. And then let me give a plug and a shout out to Archangel Alania. She changed her name again on me, but that's okay. I'm giving her a shout out. If you need your up-to-date, in-depth, down to the nitty-gritty astrology, tarot, or any other astrological pinpointed deep dive readings, High Priestess Archangel Alania is the one that you need to contact. She is one of two only that I allow to look in my chart. So you guys can take that for what it is. I don't just let anybody look in my chart. So shout out to you, High Priestess. We're thankful and grateful for all that you bring to On the Sevens. All right. All right. Yeah, I don't think y'all will be able to download it. That's in the chat. So I will be emailing everybody a ritual that will help usher in the anchoring of your new identity and also give you some clarity about those things that you need, want, and desire to manifest for yourself in 2026. Any questions, any comments, concerns before we move on? How's everybody? Joshua, how you doing, man? Open up your mic. We got some time today, so open up your mic and tell everybody how you doing, bro. Grateful for Don being here. Grateful for Roy being here. Go ahead, Joshua.
Oh, I'm here. How's everybody going? How's everybody doing?
Good, good, good. I want to introduce to some and present to others Joshua. He is our human design master, and he is one of the Council of Seven. So go ahead, Joshua, let them know what you do, brother.
Well, human design is basically the study of you as an individual. It's the science that shows you how you're supposed to make decisions as an individual. It's based on the date, time, and location of your birth, and based on where the planets were the minute you were born. You can basically see through human design your entire life trajectory, how you're supposed to make decisions, years when you'll get married, when you'll have children. Your entire life has kind of been planned out. I kind of see this as the book of life in the book of Revelations, because it's not a moral book. It's not a moral understanding. It's just an understanding of what is in terms of your life, what it means to be you, and how you are to operate as an individual.
Appreciate that, bro. We will be having on the Sevens human design night, where it'll be me and him and all of you that want to come. And we will be going through the ins and outs and intricacies of human design.
Yes.
So we want to invite and encourage each of you to join us. We're still working on the parameters and broadcasting dates. I still have to get all of us seven together so we can have our first production meeting. Trust me when I tell you this, that on or before the 2nd of April, you guys will know what the schedule is and what's going on a go forward basis. But yes, Joshua, we appreciate you being on the team, coming on board, brother. You are a vital piece to the entire equation, and you, my friend, were the missing piece. So I
I
wanted to
appreciate that. I look forward to meeting everyone and doing a reading with everyone so we can explore this together. I'm very excited about it.
absolutely thank you for being here, man, and thank you for joining the team. All right. Let's just get on into the Zodiac native soul vibration, shall we? Aries natives. Now, these soul vibrations deal with sun sign, moon sign, rising sign, or if you have a stellium of any one of these signs in your chart, you want to listen to them. So if it's your sun, if it's your moon, if it's your rising, and if you have a stellium, and if you just want to be nosy and you got a significant others and you know their planetary placements, you can listen for those as well. Aries natives, your spring equinox 2026 soul vibration. You are the dawn breaker. Your archetype is the first flame, the initiator, the warrior mystic. If it's dealing with your sun, it's identity initiation. Moon, emotional purification, and rising and stellium. It's the rising, it's the destiny realignment, and a stellium, you get a little bit of each. The spring equinox of March 2026 strikes Aries at the deepest possible level, the threshold between disillusion and ignition. For you, this equinox is not a sensational shift, however, a soul reset, a moment where the old identity collapses and the new one begins to take form. The Pisces new moon 2 days prior emptied your 12th house field, dissolving psychic residue, karmic attachments, and outdated motivations. You enter the equinox stripped, transparent, and unarmored. This is intentional. Aries cannot ignite while carrying the weight of an expired self. The equinox gives you the clean slate your fire requires. The Virgo lunar eclipse earlier in the month purified your habits, your health patterns, and the unconscious ways you drain your own energy. It exposed the subtle distortions that weakened your flame. By the time the equinox arrives, these distortions have already begun to fall away. You feel the shift as a sudden clarity, a sharpness in the body, a return of instinct. The eclipse cleared the battlefield. The equinox hands you the sword. Jupiter's direct motion amplifies your forward momentum. Expansion becomes unavoidable. The future begins to pull you towards a larger version of yourself. You feel this urgency, pressure, or a rising sense of inevitability. Jupiter is not offering opportunity. It is issuing a directive. You are being called into visibility, leadership, and the embodiment of your true frequency. The equinox is the ignition point. Mercury's direct motion on the same day clears your mind and sharpens your decisions. The fog lifts. The path becomes obvious. Conversations that were stuck begin to move. Plans that felt suspended suddenly click into place. Your voice returns with precision. The equinox becomes a mental reset as much as a spiritual one. The Saturn-Pluto conjunction at the sextile at the end of the month anchors the new identity architecture. What begins now will define your next 3 years. This is not a temporary burst of energy. It is the beginning of a long-term transformation. Saturn demands mastery of instinct. Pluto demands authenticity of will. Together, they refine your fire into purpose. For Aries sun, this equinox is a rebirth of identity. For Aries moons, it is a purification of emotional instinct. For Aries rising, it is a complete timeline shift. And for Aries stellium, you get a little bit of each. You are stepping into the version of yourself that your destiny has been waiting for. The equinox does not ask you to become something new. It asks you to become true, my ascending Aries natives. Taurus natives, you're the earth keeper. Your archetype is the stabilizer, the builder of realms, and the embodied mystic. The spring equinox enters your field like a slow seismic shift beneath the surface. While other signs experience the equinox as a burst or a rupture, you experience it as a deep anchoring, a recalibration of worth, direction, and energetic integrity. This equinox activates your 11th house axis, resetting your networks, alliances, long-range visions, and the structures that support your future. It is not a social reset. It is a destiny infrastructure reset. The people, systems, and environments that carry you into the next 3 years begin to reveal themselves, while those that cannot quietly fall away. The Pisces new moon 2 days before the equinox dissolved outdated dreams, expired collaborations, and the subtle emotional contracts that kept you tied to paths that no longer nourish you. You enter the equinox with a clearer field, a quieter mind, and a more honest sense of what you truly desire. This emptiness is not loss. It is the fertile soil in which the new directive will root. The Virgo lunar eclipse earlier in the month struck your fifth house expression, clearing creative stagnation, emotional heaviness, and the self-doubt that kept your gifts dimmed. It exposed where you were performing instead of creating, where you were pleasing instead of expressing, and where you were enduring instead of choosing. By the time the equinox arrives, this clearing has already begun to reshape your inner landscape. You feel the shift as a return of confidence, a reawakening of desire, and a subtle and yet unmistakable sense of readiness. The eclipse cleared the heart. The equinox sets the direction. Jupiter's direct motion expands your influence. Opportunities begin to move towards you rather than away from you. The future becomes magnetic. You feel the pull of a larger field, a wider horizon, and a more aligned community. Jupiter's not offering you expansion. It is insisting on it. The equinox becomes the ignition point for this widening. Mercury's direct motion on the same day clarifies your voice and your vision. Conversations that were tangled become simple. Decisions that felt heavy become light. Your ability to articulate your needs, wants, and desires sharpens. The equinox becomes a mental and relational reset. The Saturn-Pluto sextile at the end of the month anchors the new architecture. What begins now will define your next 3 years. Saturn demands discipline in your visions. Pluto demands authenticity in your alliances. Together, they refine your future into something stable, sustainable, and true. For Taurus suns, this equinox is a rebirth of value. For Taurus moons, it is a grounding of emotional truth. For Taurus rising, it is a complete recalibration of your soul's journey. And for Taurus stellium, you get a little bit of all. You are stepping into the version of yourself that builds what lasts, my ascending Taurus natives. Geminis, you had to know I had one for you. You are the wind weaver. Your archetype is the messenger, the mind shifter, and the pattern breaker. This spring equinox strikes Gemini at the highest arc of your chart, activating your 10th house axis and resetting your entire trajectory of purpose, visibility, and contribution. For you, this equinox is not subtle. It is a destiny correction, a moment where the universe interrupts your momentum, clears the static field from your mind, and redirects your path towards the version of yourself that can actually carry the next chapter. The Pisces new moon, 2 days before the equinox, dissolved outdated ambitions, expired roles, and the mental narratives that kept you performing instead of expressing. You entered the equinox with a stripped down sense of purpose and a blank page where the old story once lived. This emptiness is not loss. It is preparation. The Virgo lunar eclipse earlier in the month struck your 4th house foundation, exposing emotional patterns, inherited beliefs, and internalized expectations that shaped your sense of safety and identity. It revealed the hidden architecture behind your public life. By the time the equinox arrives, this architecture has already begun to shift. You feel the change as a subtle internal reorganization, a new clarity about what you can no longer carry, a new honesty about what you truly want, along with a new refusal to shrink your voice. The eclipse cleared the roots. The equinox grows the new structure. Jupiter's direct motion amplifies your ascent. Expansion becomes unavoidable. Opportunities that were stalled begin to move. People who belong to your future begin to appear. The equinox acts as the ignition point for the upward surge, turning possibility into direction. You feel the pressure of becoming. You feel the pull of a larger stage. Jupiter is not offering you growth. It is insisting upon it. Mercury's direct motion on the same day restores your mental sovereignty. The fog lifts. Your thoughts sharpen. Your communication becomes precise, strategic, and aligned. Conversations that were tangled become clear. Decisions that felt impossible become obvious. The equinox becomes a mental reset, aligning your intellect with your soul's journey. Saturn-Pluto sextile at the end of the month anchors the new professional architecture. What begins now will define your next 3 years. Saturn demands mastery of your craft. Pluto demands authenticity of your voice. Together, they refine your message into power. You are not simply stepping into a new role. You are stepping into a new frequency of influence. For Gemini suns, this equinox is a rebirth of purpose. For Gemini moons, it is a restructuring of emotional truth. For Gemini risings, it is a complete redirection of your soul's journey. And for Gemini stellium, you get a little bit of each. You are becoming the voice that reveals the path, the mind that shapes the future, and the messenger who carries the new frequency into the world, my ascending Gemini natives. Cancer. This one is for you, and it's kind of important for me. Cancer is the tide keeper. Your archetype is the lunar mystic, the memory bearer, and the heart oracle. The spring equinox opens a profound threshold for Cancer, activating your ninth house axis and widening the horizon of your life in ways that feel both fated, F-A-T-E-D, and overdue. For you, this equinox is a spiritual recalibration, a moment where the universe dissolves the beliefs, narratives, and emotional frameworks that once defined your world and replaces them with a larger, truer, more soul-aligned vision. The Pisces new moon 2 days before the equinox cleared the psychic fog from your inner sky, dissolving outdated philosophies, inherited fears, and the emotional stories that kept your world too small. You entered the equinox with a rare clarity, a sense of inner spaciousness, and a quiet readiness for expansion. The Virgo lunar eclipse earlier in the month struck your third house mind, exposing the subtle distortions in your thinking, the emotional loops that shaped your perception, and the unspoken assumptions that limited your choices. It revealed the architecture beneath your worldview. By the time the equinox arrives, this architecture has already begun to shift. You feel the change as a loosening of old mental patterns, a softening of internal resistance, and a new willingness to consider possibilities that once felt unreachable. The eclipse cleared the mind. The equinox opens the sky. Pardon me. Jupiter's direct motion amplifies this widening. Expansion becomes inevitable. New teachings, new paths, new mentors, and new opportunities begin to appear. You feel the gravitational pull of a larger life, a broader purpose, a more authentic direction. Jupiter is not offering you growth. It is insisting upon it. The equinox becomes the ignition point for this expansion, turning inner longing into outward movement. Mercury's direct motion on the same day restores coherence to your thoughts and clarity to your communication. Conversations that once felt tangled become simple. Decisions that felt overwhelming become obvious. Your voice becomes more confident, more truthful, and more aligned with your inner knowing. The equinox becomes a mental and emotional reset, aligning your intuition with your soul's journey. Saturn-Pluto sextile at the end of the month anchors the new worldview into long-term structure. What begins now will define your next 3 years. Saturn demands discipline in your beliefs. Pluto demands authenticity in your truth. Together, they refine your inner compass into something unshakable. You are not simply learning something new. You are becoming something new. For Cancer suns, this equinox is a rebirth of vision. For Cancer moons, it is a purification of emotional truth. For Cancer risings, it is a complete expansion of your soul's journey. And for Cancer stelliums, like myself, I'm going to get a little bit of all of this. You are stepping into a wider world, guided by a deeper truth, carried by a stronger heart, my ascending Cancer natives. All right, I can deal with that. Leo natives, my moon. This one right here is very important. Leo natives, you are the solar sovereign. Your archetype is the radiant one, the heart king or queen, and the creative sun. The spring equinox enters your field like a deep, resonant chord struck in the chambers of your inner power. For Leos, this equinox is not a surface reset. It is an underworld illumination, a moment where the sun descends into your 8th house terrain and reveals the truth of your power, your boundaries, your emotional entanglements, and the hidden contracts that shape your life. The Pisces new moon, 2 days before the equinox, dissolved the psychic residue of old fears, outdated attachments, and the emotional armor you once needed to survive. You entered the equinox stripped of pretense, stripped of performance, and stripped of the old story of strength. What remains is the raw, unfiltered core of your sovereignty. The Virgo lunar eclipse earlier in the month struck your 2nd house value field, exposing distortions in self-worth, financial patterns, and the subtle ways you have traded your radiance for security. It revealed where you were underestimating yourself, where you were overgiving your energy, or where you were anchoring your identity in roles that no longer reflect your truth. By the time the equinox arrives, these distortions have already begun to fall away. You feel the shift as a rise in clarity, as a new refusal to shrink, and as a deeper understanding of what you deserve. The eclipse purified your worth. The equinox restores your power. Damn right. Jupiter's direct motion amplifies this restoration. Expansion becomes inevitable. Opportunities that once hovered at the edge of your field begin to descend. People who recognize your brilliance begin to appear. The future pulls you towards a larger expression of your gifts. Jupiter is not offering you growth. It is demanding that you step into the magnitude of who you are. The equinox becomes the ignition point for this ascent. Mercury's direct motion on the same day sharpens your emotional and relational clarity. Conversations that were murky become transparent. Boundaries that were blurred become defined. Your voice returns with authority, not force. The equinox becomes a mental and emotional reset, aligning your truth with your expression. The Saturn-Pluto sextile at the end of the month anchors the new power architecture. What begins now will define your next 3 years. Saturn demands discipline in your emotional exchanges. Pluto demands authenticity in your intimacy and your influence. Together, they refine your sovereignty into something unshakable. You are not simply reclaiming your power. You are becoming the version of yourself who can hold it without distortion. For Leo suns, this equinox is a rebirth of sovereignty. For Leo moons, like myself, it is a purification of emotional courage. For Leo risings, it is a complete transformation of your soul's journey And for Leo stellium, you get a little bit of each. You are stepping into the realm where your light is no longer a performance. It is a force. My ascending Leo natives. All right. All right. Virgos, the temple keeper. Your archetype is the purifier, the sacred analyst, the system restorer. Spring equinox arrives for Virgo as a moment of profound recalibration. It strikes your seventh house axis, the realm of mirrors, agreements, partnerships, and the subtle contracts that shape your life. For you, this equinox is a relational reset, albeit not in the superficial sense of changing who surrounds you. It is a reset of the architecture through which you relate, choose, discern, and allow connection. The Pisces new moon, 2 days before the equinox, dissolved outdated relational patterns, emotional residues, and the unconscious habits that kept you over functioning or under receiving. You enter the equinox with a rare clarity, the ability to see what is true, what is aligned, and what is no longer sustainable. The Virgo lunar eclipse earlier in the month struck your first house identity, exposing distortions in self-concept, self-sacrifice, and the subtle ways you have shaped yourself around the needs of others. It revealed where your purity became perfectionism, where your service became self-erasure, and where your discernment became self-doubt. By the time the equinox arrives, these distortions have already begun to fall away. You feel the shift as a new steadiness in your body, a new honesty in your emotional field, and a new refusal to compromise your integrity. The eclipse purified the self. The equinox purifies the mirror. Jupiter's direct motion expands your relational horizon. Partnerships, romantic, professional, creative, and spiritual, begin to move, shift, or reconfigure. People who belong to your future begin to appear with unmistakable resonance. People who belong to your past begin to fade without conflict. Jupiter is not offering you connection. It is insisting upon alignment. The equinox becomes the ignition point for this relational expansion, turning clarity into choice. Mercury's direct motion on the same day restores your communication field. Your voice becomes clean, exact, and unburdened. Conversations that once felt tangled become simple. Boundaries that once felt heavy become natural. You speak from truth rather than tension. The equinox becomes a mental and emotional reset, aligning your words with your essence. The Saturn-Pluto sextile at the end of the month anchors this new relational architecture. What begins now will define your next 3 years. Saturn demands discipline in your agreements. Pluto demands authenticity in your bonds. Together, they refine your relational field into something stable, sovereign, and deeply nourishing. You are not simply choosing people. You are choosing the version of yourself who meets them. For Virgo suns, the equinox is a rebirth of relational identity. For Virgo moons, it is a purification of emotional patterns. For Virgo rising, it is a complete soul journey correction through partnership. And for Virgo stellium, you get a little bit of each. You are stepping into relationships that match your truth, your frequency, and your future by ascending Virgo natives. All right. Libra natives. This is important to one of my good friends and an absolute must have on my team. You are the harmonic architect. Your archetype is the balancer, the diplomat seer, and the aesthetic mind. The spring equinox enters your field with unmistakable sensation of a system reset, striking your sixth house axis and reorganizing the architecture of your body, your habits, your energy flow, and the subtle agreements you hold with your own well-being. For Libras, this equinox is not abstract or philosophical. It is embodied, precise, and corrective. It brings your attention to the mechanics of your life, how you move, how you work, how you regulate, and how you maintain equilibrium. The Pisces new moon 2 days before the equinox dissolved outdated routines, draining obligations, and the unconscious patterns of self-sacrifice that kept you overextended. You enter the equinox with a rare clarity about what your body can no longer carry and what your spirit can no longer tolerate. The Virgo lunar eclipse earlier in the month struck your 12th house shadows, exposing the hidden fears, inherited anxieties, and subtle energetic leaks that have shaped your choices behind the scenes. It revealed the unconscious contracts that kept you in cycles of overgiving, overthinking, or over-accommodating. By the time the equinox arrives, these shadows have already begun to dissolve. You feel the shift as a new spaciousness in your inner world, as a quieting of old noise, and as a soft and steady return of self-trust. The eclipse cleared the subconscious. The equinox restores the body. Jupiter direct motion expanded your capacity. It widened your bandwidth, strengthened your resilience, and opened new pathways for growth in your work, your service, and your daily rhythm. Opportunities begin to move towards you that match your true frequency rather than your old obligations. Jupiter is not offering you expansion. It is insisting that you step into a life that supports your equilibrium. The equinox becomes the ignition point for this new rhythm. Mercury's direct motion on the same day sharpens your discernment. Decisions that once felt tangled become simple. Boundaries that once felt heavy become natural. Your communication becomes cleaner, more exact, and more aligned with your inner truth. The equinox becomes a mental and relational reset, aligning your voice with your well-being. Saturn-Pluto sextile at the end of the month anchors this new architecture. What begins now will define your next 3 years. Saturn demands discipline in your habits. Pluto demands authenticity in your service. Together, they refine your daily life into something sustainable, sovereign, and deeply aligned with your purpose. You are not simply reorganizing your schedule. You are reorganizing your soul journey through your body. For Libra suns, this equinox is a rebirth of balance. For Libra moons, it is a purification of emotional patterns. For Libra risings, it is a complete restructuring of your life path. You are stepping into a life that finally matches your inner harmony, my ascending Libra natives. All right. I know my boy is happy with that one. Scorpios. Got one for you. Scorpio, you are the underworld sun. Your archetype is the transformer, the shadow walker, the phoenix mind. Spring equinox enters your field like a subterranean tremor, awakening the deepest chambers of your creative fire and emotional truth. For Scorpios, this equinox is a heart ignition event, striking your 5th house axis and reanimating the parts of you that have been dormant, withheld, or quietly waiting for the right moment to rise. The Pisces new moon 2 days before the equinox dissolved the emotional armor around your joy, your desire, your expression, and your inner child. You enter the equinox stripped of pretense, stripped of performance, and stripped of the old survival-based identity. What remains is the raw, unfiltered core of your creative essence. The Virgo lunar eclipse earlier in the month struck your 11th house field, exposing fractures in your community, alliances, and long-range visions. It revealed where you were giving your power away, where you were dimming your frequency to maintain harmony, and where you were entangled in networks that no longer match your evolution. By the time the equinox arrives, these distortions have already begun to fall away. You feel the shift as a sudden clarity about who belongs in your future, a new refusal to compromise your truth, and a rising sense of sovereignty in your social field. The eclipse purified your connections. The equinox restores your radiance. Jupiter's direct motion amplifies your creative and emotional expansion. Inspiration returns with force. Desire becomes directive. The future begins to pull you towards a more expressive, visible, and soul-aligned version of yourself. Jupiter is not offering you opportunity. It is insisting that you step into the magnitude of your gifts. The equinox becomes the ignition point for this creative surge, turning inner fire into outward expression. Mercury's direct motion on the same day sharpens your emotional clarity and your voice. Conversations that once felt tangled become transparent. Feelings that were buried rise cleanly to the surface. Your ability to articulate your truth becomes precise, powerful, and unfiltered. The equinox becomes a mental and emotional reset, aligning your heart with your expression. Saturn-Pluto sextile at the end of the month anchors the new creative architecture. What begins now will define your next 3 years. Saturn demands discipline in your expression. Pluto demands authenticity in your joy. Together, they refine your creative fire into something sovereign, magnetic, and undeniable. You are not simply becoming more expressive. You are becoming the version of yourself who creates from truth rather than survival. For Scorpio suns, this equinox is a rebirth of your creative identity. For Scorpio moons, it is a purification of emotional desire. For Scorpio risings, it is a complete soul journey emergence through expression. And for Scorpio stellium, you get a little bit of each. You are stepping into the realm where your heart becomes your power source and your expression becomes your path. My ascending Scorpio natives. All right. Not bad. Sag. Rising for me. Got one for you. So, you know, I'm paying real good attention to this one. You are the arrow of truth. Your archetype is the seeker, the vision bearer, and the path opener. The spring equinox enters your field with the unmistakable sensation of a root reset, striking your 4th house axis and reshaping the foundation of your inner world. For Sag, this equinox is not about outward expansion, achievement, or exploration. It is about returning to the ground beneath your fire, the emotional architecture that determines how far, how high, and how freely you can rise. The Pisces new moon 2 days before the equinox dissolved outdated emotional patterns, ancestral residue, and the psychic weight you have been carrying in silence. You enter the equinox with a rare vulnerability, a softened interior, and a deeper honesty about what you need to feel safe, supported, and whole. Ain't that the truth? The Virgo lunar eclipse earlier in the month struck your 10th house identity in the world, exposing fractures in your public path, your ambitions, and the roles you have outgrown. It revealed where you were performing purpose rather than living it, where you were chasing horizons that no longer matched your truth, and where your outer life was misaligned with your inner reality. By the time the equinox arrives, these illusions have already begun to fall away. You feel the shift as a quiet and yet undeniable reorientation, a desire to simplify, to stabilize, and to reconnect with what is real. The eclipse cleared the sky. The equinox restores the ground. Jupiter's direct motion amplifies this grounding. Expansion becomes inward rather than outward. Your emotional field widens. Your sense of belonging deepens. You begin to feel the gravitational pull of a new home frequency, whether literal, relational, or spiritual. Jupiter is not offering you comfort. It is insisting that you build a foundation capable of holding your future. The equinox becomes the ignition point for this inner expansion, turning emotional truth into structural change. Mercury's direct motion on the same day clarifies your inner voice. Thoughts that were tangled become coherent. Feelings that were buried rise cleanly to the surface. Your ability to articulate your needs, wants, and desires strengthens. The equinox becomes a mental and emotional reset, aligning your intuition with your decisions. Saturn and Pluto's sextile at the end of the month anchors the new foundation. What begins now will define your next 3 years. Saturn demands discipline in your emotional life. Pluto demands authenticity in your roots. Together, they refine your inner world into something stable, sovereign, and unshakable. You are not simply finding home, you are becoming it. For Sagittarius suns, this equinox is a rebirth of emotional truth. For Sagittarius moons, it is a purification of ancestral patterns. For Sag risings like myself, it is a complete soul journey rooting. And for Sag stelliums, y'all know the drill. You get a little bit of each. You are stepping into the version of yourself who rises from solid ground rather than scattered fire, my ascending Sag natives. All right. I can dig that. Capricorns, my sun sign. Got one for you. So I'm really, really, really listening to this. The mountain maker. Your archetype is the architect of time, the sovereign builder, and the keeper of the law. The spring equinox enters your field with the unmistakable sensation of a structural reset, striking your third house axis and reorganizing the architecture of your mind, your voice, your decisions, and the way you translate inner truth into outer direction. For Cappies, this equinox is not a soft shift. It is a recalibration of command, a moment where the universe clears the static from your mental field and restores the precision, discipline, and clarity that define your highest expression. Pisces new moon, 2 days before the equinox, dissolved outdated thought patterns, internalized fears, and the subtle mental loops that kept you overanalyzing instead of acting. You entered the equinox with a quieter mind, a sharper instinct, and a deeper honesty about what you truly want to build. That is so true, you guys. That is so true. That right there is on point. The Virgo lunar eclipse earlier in the month struck your ninth house worldview, exposing fractures in your beliefs, your long-range plans, and your philosophies that once guided your choices. It revealed where you were carrying inherited expectations, outdated ambitions, or narratives that no longer match your evolution. By the time the equinox arrives, these illusions have already begun to fall away, and they have. You feel the shift as a new spaciousness in your thinking and as a loosening of rigidity and as a renewed willingness to consider paths you once dismissed. The eclipse cleared the horizon. The equinox sharpens the compass. Jupiter's direct motion amplifies your intellectual and communicative expansion. Ideas begin to flow again. Conversations open doors. Opportunities arise through writing, teaching, speaking, or strategic collaboration. Definitely all of those, especially strategic collaboration. Jupiter is not offering you growth. It is insisting that you step into a larger mental and communicative field. And what is going on definitely is putting me in a larger mental and communicative field. The equinox becomes the ignition point for this expansion, turning clarity into articulation and articulation into direction. All right. Mercury's direct motion on the same day restores coherence to your decisions. Choices that once felt tangled become simple. Plans that were suspended begin to move. Your voice becomes more authoritative, more grounded, and more aligned with your long-term vision. The equinox becomes a mental and emotional reset, aligning your thoughts with your mastered self soul's journey. Saturn and Pluto sextile at the end of the month anchors the new mental architecture. What begins now will define your next 3 years. Saturn demands discipline in your thinking. Pluto demands authenticity in your voice. Together, they refine your mind into a tool of precision, power, and purpose. You are not simply thinking differently. You are becoming the version of yourself who speaks with authority and builds with intention. For Capricorn suns like me, this equinox is a rebirth of mental clarity. For Capricorn moons, it is a purification of emotional logic. And for Capricorn risings, it is a complete destiny articulation. And for Capricorn stelliums, you'll get a little bit of each. You, me, are stepping into the version of yourself who thinks with truth, speaks with power, and builds with mastery. My ascending Capricorn natives. All right. Not too bad. Aquarius. Got one for us as well. This one is important for me as well, too. You are the star breaker, Aquarius. Your archetype is the innovator, the frequency bearer, and the future architect, meaning the builder of the future. The spring equinox enters your field with the unmistakable sensation of a timeline correction, striking your second house axis and recalibrating your relationship to worth, resources, stability, and the energetic exchanges that shape your life. For Aquarius, this equinox is not a gentle balancing. It is a structural redefinition of what you value, what you protect, what you invest in, and what you refuse to carry forward. The Pisces new moon 2 days before the equinox dissolved outdated scarcity patterns, emotional residues around self-worth, and the subtle ways you have been undervaluing your own frequency. You entered the equinox with a clearer sense of what is essential, what is draining, and what is finally ready to be released. Oh, I'm getting a download right now as I'm going through this. Woo! The Virgo lunar eclipse earlier in the month struck your 8th house underworld, exposing hidden entanglements, emotional debts, and the unconscious contracts that have shaped your power dynamics. It revealed where you were giving too much, receiving too little, or anchoring your identity in exchanges that no longer match your evolution. By the time the equinox arrives, these entanglements have already begun to unravel. You feel the shift as a new steadiness in your emotional field, a deeper clarity about your boundaries, and a rising sense of sovereignty in your energetic economy. The eclipse purified your power. The equinox restores your worth. Jupiter's direct motion amplifies your material and energetic expansion. Opportunities begin to move towards you that reflect your true value rather than your old compromises. Your capacity to generate, attract, and sustain resources widens. Jupiter is not offering you abundance. It is insisting that you step into a life that matches your frequency. The equinox becomes the ignition point for this expansion, turning self-worth into material reality. Mercury's direct motion on the same day sharpens your clarity around money, commitments, and the exchanges that define your relationships. Conversations that once felt fogged become transparent. Decisions that once felt heavy become simple. Your voice becomes more grounded, more precise, and more aligned with your values. The equinox becomes a mental and emotional reset, aligning your choices with your truth. Saturn-Pluto sextile at the end of the month anchors the new value architecture. What begins now will define your next 3 years. Saturn demands discipline in your resources. Pluto demands authenticity in your worth. Together, they refine your material and energetic life into something stable, sovereign, and deeply aligned with your soul's journey. You are not simply earning differently. You are becoming the version of yourself who embodies worth as a frequency. For Aquarius suns, this equinox is a rebirth of value. For Aquarius moons, it is a stabilization of emotional truth. For Aquarius risings, it is a complete soul journey realignment. And for Aquarius stellium, like myself, I will get a little bit of each. You are stepping into the life that matches your frequency rather than your history, my ascending Aquarius natives. All right. Not bad at all. All right, Pisces. You know I got one for you. You are the dream walker. Your archetype is the mystic, the dissolver, the ocean mind. Spring equinox enters your field as a total identity reset, striking your first house axis and dissolving the final remnants of the self you carried through the previous solar year. For Pisces, this equinox is not a shift. It is a rebirth, a moment where the old psychic skin falls away and the new frequency of your being emerges with clarity, softness, and unmistakable truth. The Pisces new moon 2 days before the equinox was the final dissolution, the emptying of the emotional, psychic, and karmic residue that clouded your sense of self. You enter the equinox transparent, unarmored, and open in a way that feels both vulnerable and inevitable. This is the moment your soul has been preparing for. The Virgo lunar eclipse earlier in the month struck your 7th house mirror, exposing distortions in your relationships, your agreements, and the ways you have shaped yourself around the needs, expectations, or projections of others. It revealed where you were carrying emotional weight that was never yours, where you were absorbing frequencies that blurred your truth, and where your identity was entangled with roles you have outgrown. By the time the equinox arrives, these distortions have already begun to dissolve. You feel the shift as a new clarity in your boundaries, as a deeper honesty in your emotional field, and as a rising sense of sovereignty in your sense of self. The eclipse purified the mirror. The equinox restores the soul. Jupiter's direct motion amplifies your expansion. Your presence widens. Your intuition sharpens. Your path begins to open in ways that feel fated, F-A-T-E-D, guided and unmistakably aligned. Jupiter is not offering you growth. It is insisting that you step into the magnitude of who you are becoming. The equinox becomes the ignition point for this expansion, turning inner knowing into outer direction. Mercury's direct motion on the same day restores coherence to your voice and clarity to your decisions. Thoughts that once felt fogged become crystalline. Feelings that once felt overwhelming become navigational. Your ability to articulate your truth strengthens. The equinox becomes a mental and emotional reset, aligning your identity with your expression. The Saturn-Pluto sextile at the end of the month anchors the new self architecture. What begins now will define your next 3 years. Saturn demands discipline in your embodiment. Pluto demands authenticity in your becoming. Together, they refine your identity into something sovereign, grounded, and unmistakably yours. You are not simply changing, you are emerging. For Pisces suns, this equinox is a rebirth of identity. For Pisces moons, it is a purification of emotional truth. For Pisces rising, it is a complete destiny awakening. And for Pisces stellium, you'll get a little bit of each. You are stepping into the version of yourself that your soul has been dreaming into form. My ascending Pisces natives. Here's the summary. The spring equinox marks the solar 0 point, the moment the old year dissolves and the new directive activates. This equinox is intensified by the month's rare sequence, the Virgo lunar eclipse, Jupiter's direct station, Pisces new moon, Mercury direct, and the equinox, and the Saturn-Pluto sextile. Together, they form a 5-gate corridor that strips illusion, resets identity, and locks the next 3-year architecture into place. The Pisces new moon empties the psychic field, making the equinox a rebirth rather than a transition. Jupiter direct turns expansion into mandate, pushing destiny forward with unmistakable force. Mercury direct restores clarity, sharpening decisions and dissolving mental fog. Saturn-Pluto sextile anchors what begins now into long-term structure. This equinox reveals the truth. It equalizes shadow and light and reselects the timeline you will walk. It asks only one question: which self will cross the threshold? Always be authentically you, unapologetically. Your mastered self awaits you. Zen Uru, Zen Uru, Zen Uru. Any comments, any questions, concerns? How does it sound out there? Oh, by the way, any astrology interpretations, both for the planetary movements and the individual zodiac natives, any of those that I speak on the broadcast are my own original interpretations. They don't come from nobody else's software. They don't even come from the software, the astrology software that I have. I write these out myself. In the numerology that you're going to get from me on the show or from my website, they're my own interpretations. They are not somebody else's. Okay? I just want to let everybody know that. Any comments? Any questions? Any concerns? How that sound for you, Pisces, Miss Al Britton? How that sound for you?
Sound like it's on point as always. I'm ready for this rebirth.
Absolutely,
I
absolutely.
feel it too.
I'm thankful and grateful for you to be here today. I'm glad that you got finished with your appointment and decided to show up. What one thing do you want to manifest this year? Just pick one. Everybody pick one. Everybody pick one thing. And then when I send you this ritual in the morning that you're going to do in the morning, concentrate on that one thing when you're doing this ritual. And I guarantee you by the end of 2026, that one thing will manifest.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to sit on this one.
Guarantee. So you don't have to answer it right now. I want everybody to
thank you.
think about one thing. Be realistic now.
Yeah.
Be realistic, but think about one thing that you want to manifest. And when you think about it and hold that thought with the ritual that I'm going to email you guys after the show, it'll be a beautiful thing,
Okay.
Ilya, how you doing? Unmute yourself and speak to us, please. Yeah, come on. There you
Are you
go.
talking to me?
I'm talking to you. Yes, I am.
Hello, everyone.
How you doing? Welcome back, my friend.
I'm doing great. It's spring break for my son, so it's a lot going on, and I'm at his football practice, so I'm trying to drive him here and stay focused. But I did hear about Pisces, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to this rebirth because my next birthday I'll be 50, and there's a
Hey,
lot of
shut
yes,
up. Yeah,
there's a
you
lot of preparation for
barely
this year.
21. You look 21 to me. You over
Come
there
on
all
now.
glowing and
I take
shining.
all the compliments.
Yeah, 50.
But
Get
I'm
out of
looking
here.
forward to it.
All
I
right.
just, that's what I was saying in my own time, that this is a year for preparation for me to become all that I've been dreaming about, writing about, and journaling about, and doing all the things about. And so I'm looking forward to this year coming into 50 and preparing myself for that to manifest, level up, and all that good stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, good, good, good.
Can I say happy birthday to the Pisces?
You sure
Happy
can. Shout it out.
birthday.
Shout it
Yeah. See,
out.
I'm March 7th.
Shout it out.
I'm
That's
March
right.
14th.
Shout it out. Yeah, y'all are
Oh
7 days
yeah.
apart. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Shout
7
it out.
days. All right.
Good,
Okay.
good, good. All right, all right. Lady D, you good down there? You can unmute yourself and speak up if you want. Or just give me there you go.
Hey. Yeah, I am good. Hello, everyone.
Hey there, hey there. How you
I
feeling?
am
How you
so
being?
good. I actually had to walk away, so and does not miss me. But I know what to do. I know to go on YouTube and listen to it. But what you were saying at the beginning
Uh-huh.
about the that energy thing,
Yes.
I didn't know what was going on.
All right. Yeah.
Because I told you I started a new thing,
Mm-hmm.
and so I've been going to the water every morning. And it's like a whole new world has opened up for
It
me.
is.
Or everybody's walking around. I have my earphones on, listening to my African beats and literally dancing like I'm a mermaid in the water.
See?
And it's strengthening me. Today I went down the stairs, and after I got down the stairs, I looked back up and said, "Damn, I did that like
See? That's what I'm talking about. That's what
that."
embrace that new self, honey. Embrace the new self.
Yeah, something
And
new
you
is
go into
really
the pool,
happening.
you drown in that old identity. Every time you get in the pool, it's going boop, 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 boop.
Oh my goodness. And I have everybody making comments to me. At first, I didn't like it
Mm-hmm.
um, because I'm doing my own thing, but it's such a positive feedback that is actually, I'm literally seeing that what I'm doing is inspiring other people. And I'm seeing even people older than me walk different, have their
Hey,
head up, just is. it's really, really cool. I'm
Hey,
really
that's that on the sevens influence. See that on the sevens be following you, and it flows off of you, and they get a part of your afterglow.
I,
Yes,
I also feel like Diana Ross, like, I'm coming out.
yes, you are. Yes, you are. Come on out. Come on out. Baby. Come on out.
Yes, it's a whole new world. So I'm happy about that and looking forward. I am going to go back and have a listen though, because
Okay,
yeah, I think I have three signs in Aquarius. That's the stellium.
that's a stellium. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. And the Libra rising, I heard.
Okay.
Anyway, I'll keep going on, so I'm gonna stop.
Oh, no
But
problem.
happy
No problem.
birthday, ladies.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you for that, Lady D. And then now I would like our first time visitor, someone I connected with on Facebook. Steph, would you like to unmute yourself and introduce yourself to the folk? If you can. Give her a second to see if she can. Yep, there you go.
Did I get it? All
You're
right.
there.
Hello, everyone. I'm Stephanie. Nice to meet you.
Welcome,
Um,
welcome, and nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Tell us about yourself. Tell the folks, this is my online revolutionary warrior goddess right here, y'all. She is on it. So tell them a little bit about what you do, please.
I just really just do me, but really more I'm like an activator, like you said, activist type of energy, bringing in the new earth energy, trying to pioneer, the new earth, trying to get everybody to leave the old, like everything that you was talking about, leaving the old self behind, the old identity, the rebirth. I come in with a lot of that energy, but mostly I'm like a healer, intermediary type of person. I relay messages from the divine, into kind of like human understanding so everybody can understand, basically what's going on without anybody feeling like too intimidated or, they're not advanced enough to know stuff like that because everything's really just simple and it's really just about the soul. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? But all the new age spirituality and all the stuff going on, I just kind of like sort things out for everyone in a digestible understanding,
Oh,
pretty
you
much.
being real modest to these new folks on that you looking at. She be clapping folks back, y'all. She ain't talk just I'm just showing it. No, she be clapping, she be getting all up in people's kitchen, man. And I love it. I encourage it, man. You keep speaking your truth and you keep being authentically you unapologetically. And them haters, let them hate you from
Yes,
behind.
yes, that too. That too, because that's what basically I'm trying to show bravery and courage. Like I'm trying to show people because all the other stuff, what we don't know what's going on with the system and the Epstein list and all the bad, dark, bad stuff that we're all having to face. But at the same time, we got to face it, and we have to face it head on, and we have to, we have to evolve. We have to go through some things, and it's
Absolutely.
really getting down to the thick of it and the uncomfortable truths that nobody wants to talk about. But that's a lot of why humanity is struggling because we
Absolutely.
don't talk about it, and we got to get to the roots. You got to
Absolutely.
get to the roots of it. That's just what it is. There's no healing without truth.
Absolutely. 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 Well, I'm thankful and grateful that you are here, and I'm encouraging you to come back again. And I'm also encouraging you, anyone that you feel is ready for this experience on the sevens with Pipefish Beat Metatron, invite them and send me a personal message that you've invited somebody, and I will hook them up and bring them along board because I like the type of energy that you have. I like your purpose. I like your commitment to always speaking on the truth, even if it's uncomfortable, even if you have some folks that be talking crazy to you online. I applaud that. And I know you know so many more folks who are just like you. We're not building
Yes.
followers around here. We're building a movement where
Yes.
everybody can do something.
Yes.
This is a
That's
movement. This
it.
ain't no follow. I don't want nobody following me. I want us all to be moving forward.
Yes.
Yeah, we all gonna move forward
That's
together.
what I keep telling everybody. I'm walking this walk with you. You know, I just had a conversation with my friend earlier. It doesn't matter how much I know, I still got to go through this human experience. I'm sitting here eating his greens because I know I need to eat these greens and change my diet. I'm not going to sit here in front.
Hey,
You know, like
look, I changed my
I got
diet
to
about
change too. I'm
15
not
years
just
ago. I know
speaking
what
on
you're
it,
going
I'm
through.
being it.
Absolutely. You got to be this. Like I was saying in the opening monologue. This ain't no hobby of mine. This ain't something that, oh, I bored. I got 15 minutes. Oh, I'll go look at numerology. No, this is my life. I live this shit.
Yes.
And then everything else that I do fits in with this lifestyle. So yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I live this. This ain't something I just
Yes,
come
all of it's sacred to me. That's what,
everything.
you know, with religion, no religion, this, that. Every part of my life is sacred. When I'm
Absolutely.
eating my food, it's sacred. When I'm out in nature, it's
Man,
sacred.
how I
All
brush
my
my teeth,
body's
how
sacred.
I
It's
brush my
sacred.
teeth, how I cook
Yes,
my food, everything is
yes,
intentional.
yes,
Everything. And it's sovereign and sacred. Yes. Yes.
yes.
Well, I'm grateful that you're here. Please,
I'm
please,
grateful that you have me. Thank you. I'm honored.
please feel free to tap in anytime. You can tap in with your knowledge, tap in with your insights. Any of that, you are welcome. You are inside the circle. You get the Zoom link. So please tap in. Right
Absolutely. Thank you.
right now, for the last 15 minutes, I'm gonna give the floor to my boy Ryan, because we want to dazzle y'all with our brilliance of what it is that we are actually producing as far as our app. So, Ryan, would you chime in? One of y'all get to get your face cracked today.
Yeah, so everybody, look, again, I thank everybody for always showing up, especially the regulars, especially people who are inviting other like minds like ours. And we just need one person that's willing to step up. This is a sacred space. Even though it is being recorded, this is just for spiritual enlightenment, spiritual acknowledgement, um, moving forward in that vein. So first, I want somebody to raise their hand, and I appreciate you all. I want us to get more personal towards the end of these calls so we can leave you with something so you can see the applicability. You know, it's one thing for you to take things that you read and apply into life. And then there's another thing to have someone as a guide with you, and that's what this community is for. So, first of all, is there anybody here that has a question about something that's coming up, something they're going through, something they want to manifest, something from their childhood, a person they're dealing with, a family member, a major life decision, anything like that? Does anybody have any questions that they're willing to open up and be transparent about?
You know what? I'll go.
Please do.
Okay.
Okay. I have a situation with my daughter right now and my grandbaby, and this woman, an adversary, if you will, trying to take my daughter to court for my grandbaby. So if you could,
First, give us your birthday, please.
April 26th, 1982.
Okay. 4/26/82. Eight of clubs, four of spades, Ryan.
Yeah, so it's no coincidence that of all the things that you came up with, you came up with something where you'll defend your family. So you're the one that people might mistakenly say, hey, why are you jumping in my business or you jumping in my defense? You jump to your people's defense, don't you?
Yep.
Yeah, so that's no coincidence that you're asking that. So that right there, that's one thing that initially shows about your vibration. You're gonna always jump to your people's defense, especially if it's something serious about their day-to-day structure that could be harmed. And what's more important than day-to-day structure than the parents around the child? That's critical. So of course you ask them type of questions, and You want some information to bury this person, not in a malicious way, but just getting them out of this situation. You don't want this person or this adversary to get custody, and you want some information to just shut it down. Are you that type of person where you just want to shut down their argument?
Yeah, I just want to shut her down.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
What's your daughter's?
She's being a pest. You know what I mean? She won't admit defeat right now, and this, this is this part of the spiritual battle and the warfare that I talk about that we go through. But yeah, she won't accept defeat when it comes to me and my kids and all that. So she does this menacing stuff, trying to create chaos, and her attacking my daughter and my granddaughter. This is like, she's gone too far. And yes, I practice stuff, and I'm like, man, I don't want to do that or do anything to hurt her because she's got kids. But at the same time, leave me and mine alone. You know what I mean?
What's your daughter's birth date?
The October 27th, 2006. No, 2005.
October 27th. 8 of hearts, Queen of hearts, Ace of clubs back up. Yeah. 8 of hearts. And
yeah, so she's had some relationships where sometimes these people aren't the best for her. Is that accurate?
Yeah, this whole situation that's been going on has not been the best
messy
for her.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, she gets into some messy situations with people sometimes.
Yeah.
And she got a big heart too. Your
She's
daughter
a
got a
lover.
big heart, but
Yeah,
she's not the most selective being. Is that safe to say?
Yes.
Yeah.
However, for you, I'm looking in your influence field, Steph, and yeah, I'm seeing you triumph over this situation. However, I'm also seeing a recalibration and a boundary setting that you're going to have to do with your daughter too.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what's going on right now. Like, we're about to get a bigger house.
Yeah.
I'm getting ready to have my daughter come back home
Yeah.
and out of that environment.
Yes.
And keeping this woman away. That's basically what's been going on. Me trying to get my kids away from her influence back, at home. You get what I'm saying? And setting them boundaries. Yes.
Absolutely. I'm seeing that their arguments are starting to peter out anyway. And I'm seeing late May to early July. Resolution, you're standing on top of where I can see in your field, you're standing on top of a peak, and you plant a flag there, and I see 1, 2, 3, 4 folks behind you. Does she have 3 kids?
I have 4 kids.
Oh, that's what I'm seeing then.
That's the kind of victory. That's exactly what I'm hoping for. Like,
yeah.
In my mind, I already have like I'm like, this is the last piece of the puzzle. And once I get her influence out of his head, which is my youngest son, which he's about to graduate in May, around that time. And I know I'm going to have to face her at his graduation.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You're spot on.
Yeah, the late May to about the early part of July. Yep. But you're victorious.
And be the information center for your family. So the rigidity that you have, sometimes you could be a bit rigid, a bit headstrong. You may have heard that from people before.
Yes,
use that for your family with information. So if you do have so what that looks like is like this. If you have legal representation, that's fine to trust the professionals you hired, but do your own research. Be rigid mentally for your family. If it's something that your sons want to get into, research it with them. If it's something that the legal team is telling you, if you get an inclination that there's more laws that you can learn, do that and bring that to the table. Be an information beacon for your family during this period. And for the children who you want to be influenced on a different path, engage with them and nurture them with information. Whatever you see they're not looking for, you look for it and bring it to the table for your family during this period as well.
Absolutely. It's already what I do. Yep. Trust me, I'm on them because I understand what's going on in this world and this reality, and they need my guidance, and I know that. And this is my reason why I advocate to the parents out here into the world, like, hey, now we got to start taking the reins back and start guiding our own children, because now we know the system and the world that we live in. Someone's got to guide them, because TikTok and all this other stuff and the influence in the world ain't it. Look where we're at as a people.
It's not it at all.
It's not it. So we got to take the reins back. We got to take control and start steering our own shit out of this mess.
Absolutely.
Well, Steph, I thank you. I thank you for participating in that. People that are still on board, if you can do me a favor and prepare your phone and get ready to type a 1 in the chat. If you noticed that we were saying things that it's impossible for us to know.
Yeah.
I don't know who this person is. Mark didn't know how many children she had. We didn't know she was the one that stands up for her family. She gave us a birthday and we picked all this stuff up. Type a 1 in the chat if everybody noticed that. And this is a preview. You're going to be able to do this in the privacy of your own home, inside your own back office. So you're going to be able to go into these private situations. You're going to be able to ask questions, and it's going to line up with your planetary periods as well. Your frequencies, the whole 9. Relationships with your family, your work career, how you deal with money, you name it. You'll be able to have essentially what we just did right on spot. You'll be able to do that for yourself in the back office. And the last thing I want to end with is I want to give you guys another modality. So the last modality on the last broadcast was, if it's something that you know that you need to turn up within yourself, you know it, damn well you need to turn that up within yourself. Take a piece of tape and put it vertically near your light switches and write that attribute on that tape near your light switch, because the language of the subconscious, that's where you have to go to reprogram anything. It's to the subconscious, but the subconscious, it doesn't just work in words. It deals in symbolism and patterns. So these are different exercises that you can use to keep things as your TOMA, your top of mind awareness, TOMA. So for example, I'll use myself. I have faith in myself, but I need to have faith in my reflections, i.e. the people and things and situations around me. There's certain aspects where I have to take more risk and have more faith. So an example of me would be, I would take a piece of tape, put it vertically near my light switch, put faith, and then put a Jupiter style arrow above the word faith. And I put that near my light switches. And every time I hit that switch, I'm unconsciously and subconsciously saying to myself, I need to turn that up. So whatever that is for you, look to turn that up. That's one thing to use. Another thing to use in life that'll help you is, especially with women and men too, start seeing how you notice and being more aware of processing people's conversations through their chakra. So this is what I mean. If you're dealing with a man, or even if it's 2 men talking and they just friends, and one man might be trying to talk about building for his family, and the other man keeps talking about chasing women, trying to have sex with them, and he's greedy about money. Well, that man is stuck in his root chakra. But let's take this show right here. This is a spiritual show, spiritual context. We live this and we enjoy networking with people who live this as well. This would be a violet chakra area. This is a safe space for the violet chakra. This is a highly spiritual space. These calls on the 7s. Let's say someone is money motivated, but in a positive way. Well, they're exercising their sacral chakra or their root chakra. Let's say somebody here on the call, they want to expand their voice. They know that they have big value, but they know that their voice and expression needs to get bigger. They need to amplify the throat chakra. Let's say you have someone who's a lover, but sometimes you can overlove. You can overdo anything. And if you're overloving, then your heart chakra has to be protected. So when you're talking to people, family, friends, anything, even when our president is speaking, you can hear what chakra they're speaking out of. If someone is conversationally competitive with you, If every time you say something, they have to find a way to try to use what you said as a pedestal to top what you said and get the last word, they're in their root chakra. They're unconsciously competing with you. So make sure you process people's conversations through the root chakra, and you'll instantly have a good idea where they are even before you know their blend. Um, that's very important. And then lastly is during this Pisces intensification, one thing that is critical is pay attention to how your body's responding to your emotional life. Be very, very cognizant, be very, very aware, very, very intentional and deliberate in paying attention to what your emotions are doing to your body. That's critical. Make sure you use clearing rituals. Again, you can come to On the Sevens. We can help you out with that. But it's very critical during this particular period is to watch what your emotional life is doing to your body. And I'll turn it back over to you. I appreciate everybody.
Absolutely. I just want to let everybody know that I have just emailed you the Spring Equinox 2026 Personal Empowerment Ritual. I emailed it to you tonight in case you need to go and gather the stone. I believe all of us have a candle around. We got water and we have breath. So it's water, it's a water flame stone breath ritual. And you want to do this ritual before sunrise tomorrow or within the 3-hour equinox window. So it's 1:47 p.m. Pacific. So if you're in the East, it's 10:47 a.m. So adjust accordingly. So the 3-hour window will be from the exact station event, 1:47 here till 4:47, 10:47 till whatever the 3 hours is in New York or back east. So I've already emailed that to you guys. And you guys should get that. Yes, Deirdre, go right ahead.
Thank you. I wanted to ask about what Ryan said.
Go ahead.
When you said locate what chakra they're functioning from, then once you locate the chakra that they're functioning from, then what?
Well, that's for knowing who you're dealing with, and then you have to make a choice. So, like, I don't know how it is with women dealing with women, but I know for me, based on my frequency, almost every man I meet wants to compete with me. I bring out the competitiveness towards me in men. Men like to use me as a pedestal to size themselves up because they are self-contained. Like, I don't need to compete with another man to want to be better myself. I don't need that. I'm not a weakling like that. I know how to bring it out of myself. But a lot of other men, they're like that. So for me, chakra processing through what someone's hiding is important for me. And I know what I'm dealing with, and I can make my adjustments from there. So it's mainly just for knowing what you're dealing with. If you haven't got to the point where you can get their birthday or get their information, that's a surface initial way to kind of process what you're dealing with, no matter what they're trying to hide. Yeah, like I had a so-called friend where he was playing like he wanted to be about this spiritual life, but the bulk of his conversation was about sex and money. So he could try to lie to me all he wants to try to talk about ascension and oh, I love spirituality, blah, blah, blah. But the bulk of his conversation was about female parts and money. He's stuck in his root chakra. I'm above that. So I've cut him off. You get what I'm saying?
Yep. Low level vibrator with unbalanced energy. Yep.
I have one more thing to say about what you said on the last meeting, Ryan. And you said a couple of things, but you made mention of whose ship are you on?
Mm-hmm.
And you might think you're free once you get off the ship, but I think you said there might be a chain that's attached or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That thing, I have not been able to let that go. And it triggered me to consider over and over and over again what the hell I'm doing. I just wanted to say that. That's all. So
That's what it's for. I thank you for bringing that up because I want to show people the value. And I know some people are shy, but for these particular people, you guys are our regulars. I want you to engage more than anybody else before these calls start filling up. Because what we're working on, it's going to be really filling up, and we can't be as personable like we are now. I mean, we will be. It's still going to be broadcast, but you guys are special to us. So I thank you for bringing that up, and I'll touch on it briefly. The reason that modality is so important is because, again, just like the male ego is I see why women talk trash about men, and a lot of women allow men to think they're in power, and really she looking back at you like you little boy, and he has no idea, because a lot of the male ego, they're like teenagers, most of them. So my point being for that modality is a lot of men think that they running a ship, but they really not. And that goes for people in general. You want to do a full assessment on how sovereign your lifestyle is.
Absolutely.
And that's how you know that you don't have a ball and chain to you.
Yeah, that
because
you're not chained to an obligation. You're not chained to a responsibility. You ain't chained to some mythical thing outside of yourself that will only let you go so far.
Yeah, and if you are inside of something, someone outside of you could say, "Oh, that's a ball and chain," and you could be using it for a totally different reason.
Totally different reason.
So that's true sovereignty. You know what I mean? So figure out in your life, for everybody, are you doing this for one reason, or do you have your own reason for it? Because on the outside looking in, somebody might say, "Oh man, you stuck here," but they may have no idea
They may
what you're
not have
doing
no
it for.
clue. They may not.
Yeah.
Somebody may look at me and say, "Man, life is sure doing you bad. You used to work in corporate America, now you on internet peddling conspiracy theories." I'm like, you just don't even know what you're even talking about, first of all. And
Yeah.
What it looks like to someone else, I really don't care. Because I'm sovereign in the fact that I know that what the fuck I'm doing is what the fuck I want to do.
Yeah. It's your ship.
Yeah, it's
Make
my
sure
ship.
you assess your ship. Make sure you're on your ship. At
Yes.
least have something of your own that you could say, "I'm working on my ship today. I'm living on my terms today," even if you take one day.
Yep. And you'll know you're on your own ship because whoever owns the ship controls the anchor. You understand what I mean? So you get to start and stop and move and go when you want to, not when somebody else. You are the one who controls the anchor. Yeah, that's when you know you own the ship.
Yeah, and if you aren't there at the moment, just pick something that you do for yourself on your own. Have a ship, and if you temporarily are on a ship, if you don't have your own reasons for it, it's okay because that's life. You still got to take care of your basic needs, but still have something for yourself that you govern that's sovereign to you. Make sure you have that.
Yep, absolutely.
I think that is absolutely beautiful. And I also think that for me, I'll just have to speak for me. The best place to be in control of it is on the inside of my chest.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So because
Yeah.
that
heart and throat chakra. Yeah. Right there.
My chest, like in between my breasts, my chest.
I know what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, that was, I needed to hear that.
Yes.
Or I really needed to hear it because otherwise I would have stayed in a place of being almost, not quite, delusional.
Okay.
And not facing the reality of the ship that I'm on, that I'm riding.
There you go.
Yeah. And the fact is something that I always say, and I tell other people when they need to hear it, I'm the boss. And sometimes I tell people,
that's right,
you're the boss. because sometimes we just need to be reminded that shit, right?
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
but being the boss, I need to be, I know I'm the boss of me from within, but I need to be more in control of things around me that I control actually. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. You need to, you know, you're the boss from within. Now you have to be the boss from without, out on the outer part of your
Yeah,
skin.
take
Yes.
control of some things. Yeah.
Yes. On the outer part of your skin. I
Yeah,
totally get that.
I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. And
Oh,
also
we
what
appreciate you.
what Stephanie was saying.
Yes.
I love that realness and that reality. And
I'm telling you, man,
I could relate
y'all
with
ought to
it
see some of the shit
100%.
she be clapping back on these idiots online. That should be, I'll be over here laughing, man. It's some of the shit I can't even comment on the shit because she done clap back on their ass so fast and so thorough that I just be rolling over here. You have to know, Steph, that you be having me rolling how you be clapping back on these idiots online, man. Oh, you
I
have me.
hope so. Because it's funny. It's really like funny, and it's almost like you're a treat for me because I know I'm very well read and educated and
Yes.
learned about a lot of things. So there's nothing that you're gonna say to me. I'm gonna shut you down just immediately.
Yes.
I'm just gonna shut you down because just
Yes.
no.
And it's you spell your name traditionally like Stephanie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 43-7. You don't give a fuck. What? You give zero fucks about clapping back on somebody. In
Yeah.
fact, you post some shit just so you know they're gonna say something foul so you can clap back. You set them up. They fall for it every time. I'll be watching you. You set them up and they just walk right into it every day. Every
That's
day.
it's how you expose people.
I know. I
That's what I
know.
do. I expose people.
Oh, I know, man. That should be having me. Just know if I could heart your shit or like your shit 1,000 times, believe me, I would. Cause yeah, you my
Thank
hero. You
you.
my online hero. You are. I mean that too. I'm not being puffery right now. I like how you clap back on folks. I do. I like it. I sure
I
do.
appreciate you. Thank you. And I love this experience too, man, for real.
Absolutely. Well, this is how we are. We are authentic over here on the sevens, and you're not gonna get no other experience as like you're gonna get over here because everybody over here is authentic and everybody is doing the thing. We not just over here. We ain't two book gurus over here. We didn't
Yeah, I
actually
like
put in
how
some
you
work.
said that. That tuba guru, that
Yes.
tickled me.
Yeah, no, we done put in some work, man. We done put in some work. So we thank everybody. Miss Williams, you got anything you want to say before we close it out? I know you're driving and things, but you can unmute yourself and say something. Yeah, go ahead.
Uh, just to, because I'm loving all of the conversation that's going on right now. So kudos to you all. But just to take it back to the Zodiac natives, because I'm like, okay, I'm listening to Cancer, that's my Vedic sun. Okay, I'm listening to Leo, that's my tropical sun. I'm like, okay, I'm listening to Virgo because that's my progressive sun.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
everything on point, everything on point. And it like reminded me, especially the Virgo one, it reminded me of everything that I kind of like was processing earlier today with the shift in value system
Yes.
and being able to acknowledge that. So I'm definitely grateful for that. But I'm like, I can't wait for y'all to unveil.
Man.
I can't wait. I can't wait. I know it's gonna be very much a treat, and I'm glad that y'all was able to do that live demonstration with Stephanie as well. I
Absolutely.
really liked how y'all did that, like with the card and her number. Like I love that. Like y'all just on point with it, real quick
Thank you.
with it.
Thank you. Oh, yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. That's one of the things that we kind of, pride ourselves and hang our hats on that, ain't too many readers can cold read somebody just like that. Yeah, Ryan, go ahead, man. Go on ahead, man. Talk.
Oh no, I was just showing my appreciation for Miss Williams to recognizing that, because we're
Yeah.
gonna be bringing that up and doing that more with you guys, so you guys can get prepared and excited for the tool. The effect that we just saw, we can prove to Steph. I've never heard of Steph. Mark hadn't talked to me about Steph. I don't know who
Nope.
that is,
Nope.
but we were calling stuff out. It's impossible for us to know. So I appreciate Miss Williams for recognizing that, and you guys are definitely in for a treat. I mean, yeah, just get ready. Just get ready to
Yeah.
open up on these broadcasts. If you have questions, if you have something you're looking forward to, some type of transformation you want to make, open up. Don't be shy, because this is the time. This core group, you guys are important to us. So
Yeah, you guys are
feel free to
important,
open up.
and y'all know, man. Y'all know that we ain't some type of way over here. We open. And whatever. Look, there's a library of knowledge up here, and it is my purpose to get all of this that's up here out in some sort of written or communicative form. So for me, it ain't really about money. I made some wise decisions in my 20s and 30s and 40s when I was working in corporate America, making a lot of money, and they paying off now. So money is not the motivator. My thing is, yeah, we are original over here, and yeah, I'm gonna toot our horn, because I don't know too many numerologists who call themselves numerologists that got their own software with their own interpretations. I do. I got my own software with all the interpretations written by me. So yeah, I don't know too many astrologers that are writing out 12 zodiac soul vibes and those planetary movements by hand. I know where they go get the information from, because I got it in this piece of software that I already own. I could produce the same shit that 17 million people online is producing. No. We pride ourselves on being original, being authentic, and on the spot. We can do something on the spot. I don't need 72 hours to get ready for a reading. If you call me today and say you want a reading, I'll be like, what, 5 minutes? Sure. Yeah, let me send this report over to you. You can read that later, but here you go. Because we live this. I have consumed esoteric knowledge where it's gotten into my stomach and it is soured and fermented, man. So this is coming out of the sourness of the fermentation of my soul. That's why I can go 3 or 4 hours straight on numerology. Just boop. We can just get going. Me and Ryan, we're going to start recording the conversations that me and him be having offline. I can truly, honestly tell you guys, as far as numerology, the cards, and astrology, those are master class level conversations that me and him have. We just be going back and forth like it's nothing. Like it's nothing. That's how you know that it's your life, and you're not just a two-book guru. You know the folks didn't read a couple of books and got somebody to read for them, and now here they are. I got $16 readings, $20, ding ding. Can't even read their own chart, but they want to interpret yours. Yeah, no. And this year, 2026, is when all of the fake and phonies and false everybody's come tumbling down. All of them, whoever it is, false leaders, false teachers, false gurus, false professors, false newscasters, everybody, whoever is faking the funk and been profiting off of it, by August, by the Lionsgate 8/8, yeah, they're gonna be running for the hills. Y'all just get ready for it. This shit is getting ready to jump off tomorrow. And yeah, by 8/8, yeah, it's gonna be a whole new landscape that is gonna be starting to form. Just mark my words. Mark my words. Anybody else got anything they'd like to say before we shut this wonderful, wonderful, wonderful experience down? Anybody? Nope. All right. Since there's nothing else, this has been On the Sevens with Pifers B. Metatron, where we come to awaken to our mastered self, ascend with our evolving soul, and expand our consciousness mind. We are thankful and grateful for each and every one of you for your support and encouragement. Please continue to keep On the Sevens with Pifers B. Metatron a part of your soul's journey as your mastered self awaits you. Let me leave you with this. As above, so below. As within, so without. As of the cosmos, so in your soul core level. It is so, it is so. Always be authentically you, unapologetically. Until we gather again, goodbye for now. I am Pifers B. Metatron's On the Sevens signing off. Zen Uru, Zen Uru, Zen Uru. No more broadcast until month of April. We're going to chill out. However, stick close to your emails. Some schedule information will be going out, and the Council of Seven, you guys can expect to hear from me the next day or two. So other than that, goodbye for now. Love you guys, and I'll